Okay, so I wanted to do this video basically just a slide of a lot of different Fulani people. I personally, from my ethnic background, I am of my ancestry was traced to Fulani heritage and people. Somebody requested I do a video featuring these people. Also, in my last video pertaining to race, a couple people were trying to say that Fulani people are racially not black, or that there was one way to look black. Um, in society today, I do think that Fulanis are considered black. Um, because if you pay attention, well, it's a tricky thing. For one, they do say North Africa and then, Sub-Saharan Africa. But if you look at East Africans, for one, East Africans look very similar to Fulani people, and East Africans are included on the census, at least, as black people. So, I think on a social level, yes, these people are included as black people. You know, a lot of black Americans sometimes think that there's only one phenotype for the black race, but I think socially expected that there are different features. I do think that there is a case of running into ambiguity sometimes when you are a people from the Sahara or East Africa. You can run into experiences that a lot of other people don't experience. That doesn't change that, legally speaking, East Africans are considered black, and I would say these people phenotypically aren't very different from East Africans. So, obviously, on a phenotype basis, there is obvious that they're going to obviously be read as black over here. Now, as far as like racial categorization, long ago there was a distinction between those in the north to those in the south, but genetic testing has specifically shown that these people are 79% sub-Saharan African, so they do have a good portion of black in them. I think that they came up with this term that was related to another person's channel, MC Cham's channel. So I think maybe they're one of those type of followers, um, and that's why they thought that black people looked only one specific way. But yeah, I really don't think that that's the case. I've talked about how that's not the case. When it comes to specifically Igbo people, for example, because Igbo people are fully sub Saharan African and they are lighter skinned Africans. You know, I do understand in this situation that they do have some admixture, but admixture usually doesn't mean that you're no longer black. It's admixture, and that's why it's called admixture and not mixed race. Um, though I do want to admit, in America, it is a tricky situation with the black American race. Now, this has to do with European ancestry. These people do not have European ancestry, so this would not apply to them or people like, well, I'm not really sure people like myself, that's an iffy situation, but it definitely does not apply to people like this. Um, but originally, back in the day, mixed race had 8 different categories, at least from 1/8 black to 1/8 white. That would range. When you think of having one great grandparent of a race, you can inherit as little as 8% of their ancestry. So you would be anywhere between 8 and 92% white or 8 and 92% black, whichever way you want to see it. That's how mixed race was in America originally. There were different terms like Griff, Socotra, Marabou, Mulatto, Quadroon, Octoroon, so forth, you know. But because mixed race became black in America, we consider the black people in America black, you know. So it's kind of like, I don't think you can really say many people in America would not fit the old terms of mixed race, as far as having at least 8% European in their ancestry. Most Black Americans will have a percentage like that, at least. But there are some few people that are like from the Carolinas who sometimes have percentages around 2% European. But this is an outlier more often. Most people are not 94% black or more. Usually they're around 92%, and that's a high percentage. 91, 90% is a very high percentage for Black Americans. Most fall on average 74% black. So that's why I was just pointing that out here. And I don't think it has to do with skin tone, because, like, I've talked about this before, but my mother's family, Dwayne Wade, my mother's related to Dwayne Wade. My mother's mother was Virginia Wade. So you can tell by obviously the name, she's related to him. They're from Chicago, West Side. Well, I think it was, some people were from South Side Chicago, some people were from West. Depends. Anyway, that's not the point. But they all descend from the same family members, basically. Um, but that side of the family is pretty dark, and that side of the family is only 85% African. Their European heritage is the highest on her side, 15%. Most of her other family, and by the way, she has two grandparents who are my color or lighter, and they are more black or at least more African than that. They do not have that like 15% European. So, my point is, and that is that you can't really even assume in that case, because I would assume in that case that my mother's father, who is my color, would definitely be above that 92% African range. So, according to how they termed mixed back in the day off of European ancestry, not specifically North African ancestry or other heritage like that, but specifically European, um, that would specifically be probably much higher than 92% for him alone. So, my point in this is that, I don't really think that anyone even judged it off of that. It's more so parentage, right? My point is in this whole video is that, these people, in my opinion, vary a lot. And a lot of different Nigerian people vary. They don't all have dark skin, in my opinion. You can see some Yoruba have very dark skin. And sometimes people will try and attribute the traits of the Yoruba onto other tribes in Africa, but um, tribes range, honestly. So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to showcase some of the people from the Fulani tribe and touch upon a few things. So, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, comment